Hello, class. Today, we're going to have another Halloween-themed lesson, just because this dude is so ugly it's scary. I know, that's really all I got. We're going to have a look at Elder Predator from Predator 2. I believe this is the, from the third wave of the Predator figures? I can't remember. I wasn't going to buy them all. I just saw this one and I decided I had to have it because he looked pretty cool. So we'll look at it here in the package and then we'll open it up as we tend to do. And there he says... It says here he is the leader of the Lost Tribe. This includes a flintlock pistol and a sword, which is awesome. The flintlock pistol was what he gave to Danny Glover's character at the end of Predator 2. A lot of people hate on Predator 2. I remember thinking it was okay. I mean, I haven't seen it in a long time. Maybe if I watch it again, I'd realize that it was kind of horrible, but I didn't hate it that much. And it comes to us from our friends at NECA, and it is Real Toys. You can see down there. Almost forgot because it's so little. And if you take a quick look, it says it's for ages 17 plus. That means I can have it.
Are you sure?
Shut up. What else have we got here? So on the back, you can see Elder Predator. Aliases Golden Angel and Grayback. Now, I don't follow the whole Predator thing that much. I've seen, I think, all the movies. I haven't seen all of them in a little while. Golden Angel, who the hell came up with that? If someone knows, please, in 140 characters or less, please give me a small essay in the comment section. Grayback, I guess that makes sense because he's kind of grayish. His weapons, 18th century flintlock pistol and a cutlass. You're telling me that he actually kills people with those things? That doesn't make any effing sense. He's an alien that has advanced weaponry. He just carries that around as a trophy. Seriously. He's not going to shoot people with that. Where the hell is he going to get the gunpowder? Anyways. Sorry. So, the Elder Predator is the ancient veteran leader of the Lost Predators, and he gifts Detective Harrigan, I guess that's Danny Glover's character, his pistol as a sign of respect as a capable hunter and an honorable warrior. After he wastes the other Predator. Oh, I'm sorry, did I spoil it for you? And also available in this wave, I think that's Classic Predator and the Hound dog thing from Predators. Which I think you're going to see these in bargain bins eventually. Unless you get people who, you know, want to have like 2 or 3 of them, just like in the movie, but seriously. I think I could have passed on that regardless. And they don't show it, but there was a Comic-Con exclusive one too that had a different mask. They don't show that here. I guess that's because not everyone's going to have one. What's neat is actually, if we look underneath here, it's kind of got a list of credits, which I think is kind of nice. The product development, person who did the sculpt, the paint, prototypes, photography, packaging. That's pretty cool. I like the fact that they did that. You notice I didn't rhyme off any of the names. It's because I don't care. But it is kind of cool that they did that people get to have their names listed on their work. Now, one more thing before we go to opening this up. I have to do a little story here. If you can see the tag there, it does say Silver Snail, where I do buy a lot of my geek stuff. And I bought this during the Midnight Madness sale. Now, if you don't know what that is, because you're not in the Toronto area, the comic book shop, the Silver Snail, which in some respects is kind of the comic shop in the downtown Toronto area. I mean, there are other ones, but really, I would say Silver Snail is the comic shop. They do this big sale every year around Fan Expo, which is a big geek convention. You have to line up to get in. They control the people who get in. At any rate, that's where I bought this. And when I walked in, and this was pretty much the only thing I went for, when I finally got let in, I beelined to the Predators, and they had 2 of these on the pegs, and I grabbed them both. And the guy came in right behind me, gave me the worst stink eye look I've ever seen. He was pissed off that I had taken both of them. And he was like, look, you know, uh-oh, evil professor may have to whip some ass. So, to that guy out there, should you be watching, I just want to say, haha, I got one, you didn't. Bite me. Anyways, why did I take 2? I got one for someone else. See, I'm not always evil. To my friends, anyways. So, sorry, that's my little story. Hold on one second, we'll open this up and we'll have a closer look at this Elder Predator from Predator 2. Alright, we are back. And we're going to keep looking at Elder Predator from NECA Real Toys. Let's do a quick 360 here so we can take a quick look of the figure all the way around before I really start talking about him. And I gotta say, just right now, I've only started getting into the horror figures, and I am quickly becoming a fan of NECA, because this thing just is totally awesome. So I think we're going to see how this one's going to go. I should point out from the beginning just how big this mofo is. He stands a roughly 8 inches tall. Like, it's a pretty large figure to start with. And just for reference, like if I take the Fred Krueger that we looked at not that long ago, we can see that, you know, Predator is almost, you know, a head taller. So he's a pretty large figure, but it makes sense because the Predators are supposed to be relatively, you know, large humanoid squid-faced or crab-faced things. So, you know, that makes sense. So he'll look nice when he's standing amongst the other horror figures. But I think the thing we need to talk about now, well, in terms of the coloring, let's talk about that first, the paint job. As I said, I don't remember the movie that well, but I'm guessing this more or less represents how the color scheme for that Predator was. But we can see that, yes, he is more of a grayscale, whereas the other ones were kind of greenish or brownish, and he is much pastier than that. But we can see we've got the detail on the top of his head. We've got the little spots up here and the spots around the ridge on the top of his head that are a little bit darker. We can see there on the tusks, I don't know how well the camera's going to pick that up. That looks like it's almost, I don't know, is that gums there or something? And he's got spots on his face. And even his hair, for lack of a better word, we can see all the little bits that are on it. Even if we look at the other side of his hand there, we can see the leather strappings holding his glove in place, which is really, really nice. Really, really nice job on the paint on this figure. Along the feet. Really, really nice. As I said, I'm going to gush all over this thing. Not as much detail on the little skulls on his necklace here. Which really, when I think about it, these little skulls, like, these don't seem really Predator-worthy prey, do they? Like, look at the size of these things. These would be hors d'oeuvres. So is it kind of a Predator elementary school thing where you go and you slaughter rodents and then you put them on a necklace that you wear forever? Like, I'm just trying to figure out what's up with that. I don't think each one is threaded, though. I think, like, it is a piece of string holding it, but it attaches to this skull and it attaches to the other one, and this piece is one large plastic piece in between. So if you buy one, I might watch out for that, because that, I think, has the potential to break. And he's got another little skull there too, which he wears differently, so it must be more important. So that was like a larger rat that he killed or something. Seriously, these should be human skulls or bigger. Who gets proud of stepping on a bug? Anyways. Now, I guess we should talk about the sculpt, and I think I need to start with the... Again, I don't know, what are we supposed to call these things? Tendrils?
Dreadlocks?
I don't know. I don't want to say that. I don't know, but for lack of a better word, hair. Each one is individual, and you can move them around. There's a little clump of them here. But that's because you can see, sorry, that they are banded together for some reason. You can see the detail on his armor. That little thing on the forearm, which is his blow-up-the-world device. He's got the spikes on his knuckles, and we can even see the bones in his hands there. Very nice. Even the detail on the blades. And again, all the scales on his arms. Also, I like to point out the wrinkles on his fingers. Like, they really didn't hold back when they were putting this thing together. It's very, very nice. Now, even the mesh that covers the Predator's open parts, even that, there's texture. It's not just paint. On the body, there's texture as well, but you can see that they kind of missed when they were painting this one. There's some gaps in there. That's a little bit too bad, but otherwise, you know, it's not going to be something we're going to cry about too much. Now, the one thing I want to get to, actually, is the feet. Now, there's a ton of detail on the feet. Again, we can see the wrinkles in the skin and the claws, and he's got these kind of thummy toes over here, and that's awesome. Who the hell decided that's what Predator feet look like? Do we really even see Predator feet in any of the movies? I'm just wondering, because I'm like, who the hell decided that's what Predator feet looked like? I know there's been some novels and probably comic books and things of that nature, but who the hell decided that? If anyone knows, again, please tell me, but just curious. And no, I'm not going to look it up. I don't care that much. We can even see here on his battle armor that it looks like it's seen some abuse. He's used these for kicking people in the head. Maybe he was like in Predator UFC or something. That'd be a lot more entertaining. But anyways. Not that I don't like UFC, but it'd be more entertaining with Predators. Anyways. So there you go. I mean, the sculpt is really, really nice. There's all sorts of detail. Even on the leather piece covering his butt. And he's wearing Gitch. I had to look. He's got a cute little purse there. Oh, it goes so well with his belt. Anyways. Very, very nice. Now, in terms of the articulation, which now it's a NECA figure. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but when it comes to NECA figures, we're not expecting a whole lot of articulation. The head is going to move. I don't know how far. I don't really want to try to reef it all the way around. But I have this feeling it would probably go almost all the way. But the hair, again, kind of makes it a little more difficult. The arms rotate. It's got that double joint in there, so they can move up, at least a little bit. This one, not so much, because he's got the shoulder plate over here. The elbows, and I have a separate little side story about the elbows, but they do bend, and they do rotate. And now that I've shown that, I can talk about my little side story here. At one comic shop, and you notice I'm really gentle with these, in the package, they had a whole bunch of the Predators from this wave, so what, wave 3? And every one of them, the arms were broken off at the pegs inside, like it was snapped right off, and they're still sitting there. And they're still charging full price for them, and guess what? You're never gonna sell them. Because who the hell wants a stumpy Predator? Well, like, doesn't one of them gets his arm lobbed off, or part of it, right? From the forearm, so I guess maybe you could pretend that, but yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on there. So I would recommend, if you do get one of these, be gentle with especially the elbow joints. They're very stiff, and it looks as though they could snap at a moment's notice, which would suck. The wrist looks like, well, it rotates, and it looks like there's a little bit of a ball joint there, because you can move it forwards and backwards a little bit. We got a little more movement over here on the side with the claw weapon. I don't think there's any articulation in the torso. Oh, I'm a liar. It looks like he moves a little bit. Oh, but not that much. There's movement there, but I can't do it much. I think here at the hips it's supposed to rotate, but I've been having trouble getting that to happen. Come on. Oh, nope. It looks like they're separate pieces, but maybe they're not supposed to move. The thighs rotate a little bit here, but again, it's encumbered by the armor that he's got on his, I guess, hip plates there, or whatever you want to call them, thigh plates. The knees are similar to the elbows. They bend. They're on that joint, but very stiff, and I'm worried about snapping it right off, to be perfectly honest with you, and it will rotate a little bit as well. And then it looks like his ankles are just more or less on simple ball joints, so we can move those around a little bit. So you're not going to put, you know, the kind of dynamic poses that you could do with, you know, Marvel Legends, DCU stuff, DC Universe, classic stuff. But you can move him a little bit, so that's good. The other thing I gotta point out, I keep seeing it, not saying it. He's got a ring through his tusk. See if we can focus there a little bit. Can you see it? And then there's another one, which is a separate piece. Somebody actually put it through and probably glued it together, so it does move. I think that's awesome. The fact that it's not just one piece, that's two separate ones, so you can just see it move there a little bit. That is awesome. And what kind of balls would it take to drill through your outer jaw to put something like that in? Oh my god, these guys are badass. That's the whole thing. He's just badass. Like, he probably has Prince Albert or something. Anyways, in terms of accessories, not a whole lot, but we can look at them here. He's got his cutlass, or sword for lack of a better word, or whatever one it is. And we can put that in his hand. Now, I, again, don't remember, you know, I don't remember seeing a Predator be, I can't remember if they do in the newer one, but wield a handheld melee weapon. There's always the blades on the arms. Maybe they do in the newer one. I can't remember off the top of my head. It seems out of place for him to be holding this. I don't know why. It just doesn't look right. Maybe because it's not big enough. You think it should be something the size of his arm, given how strong these dudes are supposed to be, and the fact that he's wielding it at all. It looks more like something some poor bastard fighting zombies would stumble upon, and, you know, it's a piece of scrap metal with a little bit of leather on it. I'm not terribly fond of this. Again, I don't know if it's canon from the movie or they just needed to give him an accessory. So I don't think my Predator is going to be holding on to this too often. But he does have a holster for it, a sheath, so we can pop that in there. That's probably where it's going to stay. And it fits snug, which is nice. Means if he falls down, we're probably not going to lose it. Now, the other accessory, which is more important, I think, to his character, is his flintlock pistol. There's a nice little place we can tuck it in there on his waist, if we want. I'm not going to try, but I think he could probably get it in his hand, but I think that's even dumber than having the sword in his hand, so I'm not even going to bother, because he's not going to wield a... I'm sorry, I don't care. He's not going to wield a flintlock pistol. It's just stupid. Maybe he'll hold it like this to give it to Danny Glover, and he'll say, take it, or whatever the heck he says, and then there you go. But otherwise, nah, it's just going to sit there as well, and it fits nice and snug. The other thing is that he does have the shoulder-mounted, I don't want to say laser, even though there's a laser for the sight, right? But the cannon, I don't know, the PPC or whatever we want to call it that's attached on the shoulder. I have not tried putting this thing on yet, so this is going to be something of an experience. Let's see, come on. Son of a... Note to self, practice these things first. Oh wait, that's what I do with Transformers. I don't think that's perfect, but it'll do for now. We can mount that on his shoulder. And again, I don't remember if he had this in the movie or not. It's been a while. I should have maybe watched the movie, but I don't have it, and then I'd have to go through the trouble of getting it, and blah, 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 and whatever. But anyways, we have that on there. I don't know if I'm going to leave it on there or not. I guess it doesn't hurt anything, but it doesn't really do anything either. The accessories are kind of meh. All he really needed was the pistol just to have on there. But otherwise, I think accessories are mediocre, I guess, but otherwise it's pretty good. I have to say, I do like this figure a fair bit. If I were to grade this figure, I would give it an A. Easily an A. Now, why does it not quite go into the A+ region? It is pretty heavy, and the ankles being such as they are, I've been noticing just handling it now, he tips forward, and then he's just gonna crash down. So keeping him standing up is gonna become increasingly more difficult. Some of the accessories are kind of meh, which is neither... I don't usually get too upset about accessories, but I just don't really care for them in this case. Now, a little more articulation would have been nice, but I think that's just what happens with NECA. You give up articulation for detail, and I'm cool with that. But it's a solid A figure. I think if you like Predator, it's worth having. I'm kind of sold on the series. I think I'm going to go back and start buying more of them because it's pretty awesome. I'm not a Predator collector per se, even though I do have another one somewhere, that little stupid put together one that pissed me off. But at any rate, this thing's excellent. It'll make a great addition to your NECA figures or your horror movie figures. I know Predator isn't really a horror movie, but damn, he's gonna look good standing beside some of the other ones. So I think that is my lesson for the Elder Predator from NECA Real Toys, Predator 2. Thank you very much, and class is dismissed.